Hey guys, welcome to Hellstormwargaming and welcome to this brand new book review. Today we are honoured to be showing off Psychic Awakening, Saga of the Beast. Ow! I couldn't help it, I'm sorry. Today I've got two very special guests. I have Mr. James Ramsay. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing? You okay?
I am absolutely fine.
Oh,
Obviously,
fantastic.
in this very interesting times.
Yes, interesting climate it's known as. Yeah, it's very... It's just every day is just even more interesting.
Yeah.
And obviously, I could not review Space Wolves without the Wolf King himself. It's Mr. Tank Roberts.
Hello, everyone.
How are you doing, Tank? Are you very excited?
Good. Yeah, very excited about this. It's like a ray of sunshine in these scary times.
Exactly, yeah. So, thank you very much to Games Workshop. They sent us this book nice and early so we can do a review for you. Hopefully, either in a day or two, maybe like mid next week, you're also going to have a battle report with Space Wolves as well, because we're going to be filming, which will be really fun. So, I'm probably editing that as you're watching this, which will be really fun. So, but yeah, so James Ramsay. I know who you are. This is the intro that I do to everyone. I know who you are, and we've played a few times before at some events. But for everyone at home who doesn't know, who are you, and why should you be telling them why Space Wolves are alright, or what's good in this book?
Okay, cool. I guess my main kind of claim to fame, I'd say, is I've been in England for the ETC/WTC events that have been going on for a while now. And I was part of last year's England team that won the event, which was really cool. I was really happy. That was kind of one of my bucket list things to try and do.
That's wicked, man.
And we've still having the team finalised for this year's event, but obviously with this, not sure what's happening. But yeah, I've been playing events for a long time. I like to take armies that are a bit different, so I don't win too many events, but generally I'm kind of in the top 10, 20, kind of hovering around there.
Yeah.
I like to take things that are a little bit different, a little bit off the cut, like some tricks and things. And normally, kind of I'm the stereotypical 4-1. Sometimes get the 5-0, but normally I run into a counter or something. But it's all good. I enjoy that.
Yeah, you're almost the play tester for Team England, aren't you? You're always like trying things out to try and find what works, and then you go, you guys should use this, and then you're on to the next thing already while they're playing your old list. Essentially.
Yeah, I guess I'm a bit of a butterfly in terms of I like to play lots of different armies.
Yeah.
I did used to play a lot of sisters, and I used to play a lot of Tau as well. They're probably my armies that I played the most.
Okay.
But I've dabbled with Wolves, I've dabbled with Guard, everything. I quite like the Imperium's a good time. The Imperium's having a lot of love at the moment. So. Oh
God, yeah. It's like every book has something to do with Imperium at the minute. It's just insane.
That's great.
So I think as we played, I can't remember which was it. I think it was Cali Mayhem that we played. Because it was before New Space Marines, because I was running Repulsors and you were running 30 Space Wolf Terminators with tank commanders and then all the Space Wolf buffing characters, which was just an insane list. Which is really good, really, really scary. So
it was good. It was a fun list. It was something I was trying out, and I learned a lot from that. So it was a good little test.
Yeah, that's good. So, as I said, we're going to be talking all about Space Wolves. So we've got, obviously, a very qualified person with us. Well, two qualified people. So, what did Space Wolves get? I'm going to give you a quick rundown, and then we're going to go through some of our favourite bits. So, Space Wolves got new and updated data sheets, or the units. So, they obviously got the most obvious one, Ragnar Blackmane, who's super cool. He's dancing on some rock, just like every other character in this that they seem to release these days, which I personally like, but there you go. They also got, probably the most important thing, is Combat Doctrines, which you've probably already seen on Warhammer Community. A little note that people might notice when they open the book is that Combat Doctrines is the old one, so I imagine an FAQ is quick to follow, because currently they can stay in the Devastated Doctrine all game, which is always fun. But
on a similar note, Mikey, there's things like the Dreadnought stratagem still half damage as opposed to minus
course,
1,
yeah.
and things like that are going to change, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sadly, because of the FAQ that was due for Adepticon, then all of this has been changed. But if you read in the book, don't think, "Oh, I'm going to build long fangs all in Devastated Doctrine." Just be wise and just be prepared for that change that's coming very soon. So with the new units, we got Ragnar Blackmane. He's pretty cool. He's an absolute blender by the looks of it. What do you guys think?
He's one of the most interesting special characters they've brought out in a while, I think, in terms of he's got quite a cool model, but also he's actually not bad rules wise. And like you compare it to someone like Shadow Sun, who I think they really let the ball, really kind of drop the ball.
Yeah,
they could have easily fixed it to make her very good, but unfortunately she kind of suffers a little bit, even though her model is really fantastic. And if you love painting, if you love tab, and she's like an auto include.
Yeah, it's such a centerpiece model, but then she's just so lackluster now.
Yeah, a little bit.
So.
Whereas I think Ragnar, you can throw into a lot of armies, and he's just good. He's just solid. Which is good.
Yeah, so he has like 10 attacks on the charge at like, what is it, strength 6 minus 4 and 2 damage, which is really good with Frostfang.
Yeah.
Which is insanely cool.
He's one of those models that has a really good profile, just basic, just a great profile, a decent weapon, and then there's so many buffs you can stack on him to make him very powerful in combat. And then you have like a little model that you can hide. You can't shoot him, and you can just run around and just control all the board space with the Space Wolf. The basic chapter attacks they have, where they're able to heroically intervene within 6 inches, so he can.
Yeah, that's really strong.
A lot of space, and he will slap a lot of units away very, very easily.
Yeah, because he's kind of like a weak Lord Discordant into, but like he's a Lord Discordant that's not quite as good unless you throw loads of stratagems into him, but you can't target him, so he's just there annoying you, like sat in between loads of intercessors or something like that, and just like, I'm coming for you, and you can't do anything about it unless you've got lots of snipers, which is fun. So he should note as well that he's only 120 points, so he only went up 20 points for this little Primaris buff that he got. So
which is well worth it.
Yeah, I just want to say
you're having to pay like 40 points for a Thunderhammer these days. Having a solid melee weapon is fine.
It's basically free because it's just a Primaris captain who's got loads of cool buffs and he's around the same points as well. So I want to say a massive thank you to Games Workshop for printing his points in the book as well. So which is always nice. So we also got some updated data sheets for Wolf Priest. So Wolf Priest and Terminator armor, a normal Wolf Priest, Primaris Wolf Priest, because now Space Wolves have litanies. They have the same 6 litanies as Space Marines do, but they also have their own unique one, which we'll get into in a little bit.
It's probably worth noting at this point that we believe they've forgotten to include Ulrich the Slayer in here. So he's not got litanies, and I would expect for him to be one of the characters who gets 2 litanies as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure on it because he doesn't have that Master of Sanctity thing like Astrath has, but hopefully, I mean, if he does, that'd be absolutely fantastic.
Because he does have. If I just double check, he does have the Wolf Priest keyword. I know that
definitely
much.
Has Wolf Priest, yeah. So
I'm
should
just
definitely have a
wondering.
litany.
I think he has the old litany of re-rolling hits in combat. I can't remember what they call it.
Yeah, the Oath or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's got a special name for it because he's super cool. He's got Slayer's Oath rather than Oath of War. So that's just re-roll hit rolls in combat. But yeah, so it'd be interesting whether he does get litanies as well. I imagine he will, but we'll have to see. So currently, Ulrich hasn't been changed, because I know that's probably something that people ask. But then Space Wolf got all of the updated data sheets. So they've got Wolf Lord in Phobos armor, Battle Leaders in Phobos armor. They got new Intercessor data sheets, so you can take Thunderhammers on those lads. Infiltrators in Cursors, War Suit Suppressors. All the Primaris stuff that's come out. So all that stuff, they've all got that. It's basically the same. So So with the combat doctrines, they obviously got a super doctrine, it's dubbed, or an ability whilst they're in the combat doctrine. So whilst they're in the assault doctrine, if an unmodified hit roll of a 6 is made for an attack with a melee weapon, that attack scores 1 additional hit. So it's called Savage Fury.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Games Workshop.
I mean, this one again has already been shown on Warhammer Community. We should say that their chapter tactic remained exactly the same; it didn't change at all. So it kind of looks like Blood Angels won on the doctrines for the successor chapter, the alternate chapters, the non-codex compliant chapters, because +1 to hit is +1 attack is probably better than 6s to hit is an extra hit, I'd say. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, in terms of like, if you're trying to like math hammer it out, it probably is. +1 attack is better most of the time, unless you have a lot of attacks. You have to have 5 with rerolls, or maybe 5 or 6 attacks for it to be better.
Yeah.
The only advantage of Savage Fury is it's all the time, whereas Savage Echoes is only when you charge or heroic intervene or whatever. So
that's true.
I guess in the second round of combat, it's slightly better to have Savage Fury. But
yeah.
I don't think many units survive these kind of these units. If you're in the assault doctrine, you're probably going to kill what you charge most of the time. It's rare that unless you're trying to wrap something and then kill it in the second turn maybe. That's about the only time I can imagine it being better.
Yeah, I think on average +1 attack is better, but if you roll better than average, this is just insane. It's like if you got 6 attacks and you roll 3 6s, you're absolutely laughing. But then there's going to be that time where you've got 6 attacks and you don't roll a single 6, for example. Yeah. And that's probably going to happen more often than not.
I think White Scars, it's fair to say, won the assault doctrine competition.
Yeah. I think like Blood Angels, it's a nice buff to have as a pure army. It's not obviously it's a free buff. You can't really complain, but it's not something that's going to make you really want to stay pure wolves. It's not going to like Space Wolves, like White Scars, for example. You love staying pure White Scars, whereas pure Space Wolves is definitely a trade-off between do you want the other buffs that the Imperium factions can bring, like the other options, or do you want that extra little bit of combat punch with the obviously the extra doctrine AP as well. So in a way, it's a good thing that DW aren't making these very, very powerful doctrine, extra buff doctrines like Iron Hands and Imperial Fists and so on.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a balance, but it's still not bad. Still okay.
Yeah, it's not too shabby. And again, the fact that it's every round of combat, which is quite good. I suppose that's the plus side to it compared to +1 attack on the charge. So they're the combat doctrines. So they're now on level with all of the Space Marines, which is pretty cool in terms of not being left behind with AP. But then they also gain Vanguard Warlord traits, so they're for your Phobos Captain. Again, they're exactly the same as the Space Marines. But they also gained a lot of stratagems, so 3 pages of stratagems. And some of these are recognisable, but some of them aren't. Should say that, obviously, as we've already mentioned, they got Duty Eternal for the Dreadnought. It is written as the old one. It's half damage, but I imagine that's going to be updated to -1 damage. They also got Transhuman Physiology, and that's for any Space Wolf unit that isn't a vehicle, so that could be used on your Thunderwolves, for example. Probably a cool one that they got was Hero of the Chapter, because I don't think Blood Angels got that stratagem, which these guys did. I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure they didn't.
I think they did get Blood Angels did get it. Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Mikey, in the main Marine book, is it once per battle, this one as well?
Hero of the Chapter is once per battle, yeah.
Because I thought there was a way that normal Marines could have as many Warlord traits as they wanted.
I don't think so. I can double check.
You can stack. You can have 2 on one character, can't you? And you can have an extra. So you can have effectively 3 Warlord traits, and then I guess.
I see.
The Vigilus one, you can have another one, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could have Fork with Grey Shield and.
Space Wolves have got a Vigilus Warlord trait as well, which is not terrible. So you could have you could have 3 characters.
It is good for us this because we have got some quite good Warlord traits.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can still. I think you can still take the base. I believe. I think you can still take the base Warlord trait from the rulebook as well, which is +1 attack. So if you really want an extra attack, it's
that'd be quite decent.
I mean,
those ones that everyone forgot about.
yeah.
Oh, is it +1 attack, +1 leadership, and something else? Can't remember now.
Yeah, leadership. I think there's one -1 leadership if you're within 6, something like that.
Ah, okay.
One you never really use.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could take Saga of the Wolfkin as your warlord trait if you want the extra attack, and then you've got the possibility of the bubble as well, haven't you?
Yeah, you've got Saga the Wolfkin, you've got Saga of Beastslayer, which is +1 to wound against vehicles and monsters. Could be useful.
That's fantastic in combination with that new Relic Act, I noticed.
Yeah,
really good. So, as I said, we've got a few new stratagems. Which ones do you think stand out to you guys? Shall I start with Ramsay? Which one do you think stands out to you?
I think the most one that if I was going to play this army, the one I'd probably use the most is the one where you get the 4+ get additional hits for characters Touch of the Wild.
Yeah.
That the one that they've already previewed. It probably is one of their better ones they've got. It's, I mean, just to be able to basically give your main character an extra, 50% extra hits. It's just for 1 CP is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And the fact that it lasts until the end of the phase, so when you fight twice, or when you fight when you die, it lasts that full phase.
Exactly.
Really it's basically as good, if not better, than the Blood Angel D3 extra attacks one.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it's probably better than that. And it combos really well with people like Ragnar, who've got so many attack phase.
Ragnar, on average, gets like 15 hits or something ridiculous.
Yeah, and then you can still, obviously, if you still have your super doctrine, it doesn't say that doesn't stack with that, so you're effectively getting both. And of course, you've got the Wolf Priest can do exploding 6s as a litany as well, so you can have 3 lots of exploding attacks, which is very powerful in a character with either a Thunderhammer or with Ragnar's sword or whatever you've got. It's
interesting. Yeah, so with this stack of Touch of the Wild, Savage Fury, and then is it Exhaustion of Rage, the litany?
Yeah.
So one guy can get 3 hits on the 6s, which is really good, or 2 hits on a 4, which is almost as good as the Disco Lord we mentioned, the Flawless Host one.
If you're playing Thousand Suns, you can use the Executioners as well to get another 6. Is that hit a 4 actually? I can't remember.
Let's have a look. I've got the codex in front of me.
The Thousand Suns one is 4, yeah.
Yeah, so you don't like that. So I mean, to be honest, Thousand Suns are making a comeback at the moment. They're very popular with their.
I feel like a library.
If we're talking Ragnar as well, he can put Gene Wrought Might on top of all that as well. Now he's Primaris.
Wow!
6s will auto wound as well.
Yeah, that could be really good. And some of those more powerful units, that could be really quite nice.
Yeah, because it says if that unit is benefiting from the Savage Fury ability, the additional hit successfully wounds the target. So, because that is specific what it says on the Gene Wrought Might stratagems. That's when normally a 6 to hit wounds, but now 6 to hit, because of the way the FAQ works, where an extra hit doesn't count as any dice roll, they're specifically stated that Savage Fury hit would actually auto wound as well, which is really good. So 6s to hit would be 2 wounds plus 2 hits.
Very good. Yeah, you can make. Yeah, there are some great combos.
Yeah, I mean that is like 5 CP, but I mean that's awesome.
And of course, another 3 to fight twice if you really want to kill something.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really cool, man. That's really cool.
There's the base Space Wolf book has some nice combos, like the reroll to wound stratagem for one of your characters when it's fighting a higher power level unit. There are lots of really good strats for characters, and that's kind of as soon as you have extra buffs like this, you can pile onto it. You're able to build really powerful little mini character Death Stars, which I think when you're in the meta right now, they're quite good to be able to, because there's a lot of units that can do a lot of damage, but they can't pick out these little characters that can just hide behind ruins and jump out and smash stuff. So that's one that I'm really looking forward to using. Yeah,
that's really cool. Kind of like focusing on the characters, using stuff like supreme commands of them, for example, and then taking all the best bits from the book, for example. So that's cool. Tank, did you notice any that jumped out at you? Any of the new, fresh ones rather than the normal Space Marine ones that we've got?
Well, I must admit, I think we've we've kind of, I think James has picked up all the sort of sexy new Space Wolf specific ones.
Yeah.
I'm quite excited about, just because of like the type of wolf list I play. I'm quite excited about the sort of bread and butter ones, like the transhuman and the +1 hit for Terminator units.
Yeah, Fury of Champions they call it in this one.
Like there's loads of like that counter charge is like situationally really very strong.
Yeah.
It's the same one the Blood Angels have got. They have the same one. It's useful. Use it a fair bit, and it can definitely catch people off guard.
Yeah,
they'll forget they have that. So it's a really good, really nice little strat. That.
So counter charge is 1 CP, guys, and essentially after your opponent's finished charging, you select one Space Wolves unit from your army. It can heroically intervene as if it was a character, and it can intervene 6 instead of 3, which is really good. So you can really catch people out with that one. It's very much a gotcha stratagem, but I mean, tough.
Yeah.
Tough doo-doo.
You're gonna have to.
Yeah.
You can use it any time in your opponent's stratagems, your opponent's charge phase. So
yeah.
It doesn't say you have to use it at the start, for example. So you can wait until your opponent has moved everything and then use it.
Or
you can use it at the start and make your opponent
work around it.
Make I don't know if I can want to charge now, because you've got a unit that can, like a big Thunderwolf unit or a Wolfen unit or whatever, is not nice to have to. You want to normally avoid them in combat. You don't normally want to have them heroically intervening into you.
Yeah, because Thunderwolves can have such board presence, don't they, if they spread out properly, because they're on such big bases, and then 6 inches from any model of those is just a huge footprint you don't want to go anywhere near.
Yeah, and if you have the Litany, which lets you consolidate and pile in 6, or you have that, and then obviously you fight twice, and you can move. I've used that with the Angels to be able to move halfway across the board with a unit. It's really, really powerful.
Yeah, that's really cool. And again, obviously, because it's essentially heroic intervention, they don't even have to charge. So if you just get close, they pull out of combat, shoot you, fail, and you just go, okay, back in combat I go. Come on, lads. Round 2. Which is really cool. So
Ragnar gives the 6-inch consolidate as well, so...
Yeah, it's just a huge amount of movement.
There's quite a lot of scope for like assault jank in the Wolves army now. It's just a shame that their base move is quite slow of a lot of the units.
Yeah, you kind of got to get them there first, but once they're in there, they're really, really tricksy and really clever, but it's sometimes the issue is just getting them there. Because I think what I will say, I love Vicious Executioners, which is use the stratagem in the fight phase, and when a Wolf Guard unit is chosen to fight, if you're fighting against infantry, a 6 to hit does 1 mortal wound in addition. 6 to wound, which I thought was pretty cool. Because
that is not bad.
Yeah, because they get quite a few attacks. They're hitting on 2s, re-rolling usually because they're near someone. You can use Fury of Champions to hit on 2s with your Storm Bolters on your way in, and then you can just go punch them with your Storm Shield, and then do mortal wounds in addition, which is pretty cool. But
yeah, because the problem I always found with Wolfguard, when I used the big loads of them, they didn't have any AP on their attacks. So now if you're running pure wolves, you'd have maybe AP 1 if you're in the Assault Doctrine.
Yeah.
And then now you've got ability to, if you're fighting against more survivable units like, say, a Paladin or something, if you manage to get there, you have that ability to actually put a fair few mortal wounds on them, which is what you need to get through those tough, 2+ or 3+ invulnerable save units.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So again, even if you're fighting like a horde or something, it's just a few extra wounds to get rid of them. If you're fighting like Orc Boys, for example, because with Orcs getting new rules, you might see them a little bit more. Just being able to do a few extra wounds here and there might be quite good. I think.
Yeah, you'd probably pick up sort of like 4 to 6 mortal wounds on a good sized unit of Wolfguard or something, but it's not terrible. It's situationally good, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not.
Wolf. It depends how many buffs you're going to end up stacking. Because if you've got like Arjack and you've now got Shock Assault, Arjack, Wolfstone, Exploding Sixes with your Super Doctrine. Maybe you have a Litany buff going on them. You can get easily with +1 to hit when you charge because of the the base. You could easily have a unit of 10 getting like 50+ hits, very, very
which is just insane.
It's crazy, but I mean, a lot of the time, probably don't quite need that many. But against anti-horde, which if horde becomes more prevalent, it could be really useful. But also, because it gives you the ability to put those mortal wounds down you can kill those tough characters, which could be which is where they kind of struggle. Because normally you have to put like Thunderhammers in there, and now you might think, you know what, I don't need Thunderhammers. I'll just rely on using this strat if I do fight against something that's quite tough.
Yeah, exactly. Which is pretty cool. I think one thing they did miss with the stratagems, though, and probably covering the relics and stuff like that, there isn't anything to improve like a deep striking charge, because obviously you have the usual tactic for a unit of Wolfen, let's say, is to use the outflank stratagem. I can't remember what it's called now, where you deploy on the edge of a board more than 9 away from units.
It's just called outflank, I think. Cunning for Wolf it's called.
Ah, right, okay. So that's where you deploy 6 inches on an edge of the board head, but more than 9 inches away. There's nothing that kind of gives you bonus to charge or reroll charge, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah. You've got the chaplain litany, but you'd have to be like really janky to kind of... Oh no, it won't even work because it's at the start of the turn, isn't it?
Yeah, so you'd have to be where your wolf and come on, and then it's all units within 6 add 2 to charge. So you'd have to make sure the litany goes off, the wolf and have to arrive next to him, and then they get +2 to charge.
Yeah, so, it's a big ask, isn't it?
Because if they deep struck as normal, like kind of put anywhere on the board, that wouldn't be too bad because you could put it on a guy with a jump pack, but they've got to be the edge of the board, which is normally more difficult for a chaplain to get to. Sorry,
I was really
wolf-priest.
hoping for some sort of charge distance buffs out of Deep Strike, and also ignore Overwatch, but
yeah,
you don't always get what you want for Christmas.
Not always. So there's some of the cool stratagems you can use. I said there's quite a lot that on their own don't look like much, but when you start stacking them with everything else, then they get a little bit crazy, which is quite cool. So then, as I said, they got the Obscuration Discipline because they got Sneaky Phobos Rune Priests, which is always fun. They're just the same as the ones at the Space Marine book. And then they got Litanies. They got 1 to 6, which are, again, the same as the Space Marine book. But they also got Tale of the Wolf King and the Lords of the Deep, which is a very long name for a litany, I would say. So... if this litany is expiring, select one Space Wolf unit within 6 inches of this model. When resolving an attack with a melee weapon by modelling that unit against a monster or vehicle unit, add 1 to the damage characteristic for that attack. So that sounds pretty fun. What do you guys think?
Situational but cool. I mean, if you take that Worm Splitter Axe, it's doing 5 damage, isn't it?
Is that one of the new relics? I think it is.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. So... I don't think it's too bad. I mean, there's Ulrich, well, the Saga of the Beast Slayer, which is +1 to wound against monsters and vehicles, and now you can get +1 damage against them.
Yeah, this is one of those ones which is because it's one of the ones that you have automatically. You don't have to take as part, like you don't have to use your one litany slot.
Yeah, this is true.
Like the Blood Angel one is really bad. It's minus every 6 to hit or 6 to wound. I think is an extra AP or something, or minus 4 AP, which is very, very useless. You never use that. Whereas this one gives you the ability to, you don't need it. You can still take your +1 to hit or wound or whatever you want from the litanies, and then you can still just like, I need to smash this vehicle this turn. Right, I'll give my whatever +1 to damage, and on a big unit, it's going to make a big difference. I mean, damage 2 is like being a White Scars unit for that turn.
Exactly. But also getting all your other buffs like +1 to hit and extra attacks on 6 is just really cool. So. Yeah.
So I would definitely be tempted to have a Wolf Priest, because they're not. You can give them, say, the Mantra of Strength. It can still be a good little smashy Wolf Priest, but then you still have that ability to go, I'm going to send off my little Smash Captain or my whatever unit you've got to buff them up and send them in, smash up, whatever you want to fight. And he has like a bit of a multi-purpose tool there. He's kind of got a decent little buff in his back pocket.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose similar to... It was a little trick that Nick did against me when I played him with White Scars a previous time. If you use like the Gene Rot Might on the Primaris units and combo it with that, you can sort of throw them into vehicles and things, and auto wounding on 6s and doing 2 damage. It starts stacking up.
Yeah, it's really good.
So that's where I see if you're going to go if you're going to do like these little, the units don't seem that great, but the Primaris Marines, as we know, are very good for their points. They're just solid units.
Yeah.
And there's lots of nice little buffs in here. I think if you combo with the old relics and the old warlord traits with this new stuff, I think there's definitely some play in there, and I can see people using lots of Primaris, maybe impulsors and that kind of thing to quite good effect with all this stuff.
Yeah, so it's nice that you can't, as you said, because it doesn't take up a slot, because this works the same way as other chaplain litanies do, chapter litanies. So you take your wolf priest, you give him 2 litanies or 1 litany, and then you get this one extra. It's just kind of nice to have that in your back pocket ready. And you're probably going to be taking them anyway, because I mean, if Ulrich does get upgraded to having litanies, which is very likely, being able to do this as well as him being actually quite a good character already, which is kind of nice. So
yeah, the new wolf seems to be shaping up where it's cool in a way. There's no obvious kind of like easy win buttons in here.
No,
it sounds
which
like
is always good.
Quite a high skill requirement, but if you put the time in, potentially you could sort of do really like interesting, strong things with them. But there's just a lot of moving parts that you've got to align, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and I think it feels similar to things like Blood Angels. They're not in that marine where you have shooting combat, maybe good playing powers in some of the armies. You're limited in your shooting is not that good, so you're having to leverage the assault phase, which is the hardest phase to make work for sure. So you're really having to work at this, and I think there's enough though to make it viable. It's just, can you get the right pieces into the the right field of play at the right time?
Yeah, exactly. So they also got new Relics of the Fang, which is one of the last things that we get to go through. So this is like 2 pages of new relics that they get to play with, which is pretty cool. They got quite a few unique ones, and they also got some that were stolen from the special issue war gear from Space Marines once again, which are the notable ones: Adamantine Mantle, Runic Armor, rather than Artificer Armor, and then Mastercrafted Weapon, and then a Special Bolt Gun, which is quite cool. So Mastercrafted Weapon is always a good one to make you Smash Captains damage 4, which is always nice. But did any jump? There's one that jumped out to me, which I thought was quite cool. Did any jump out to you guys?
Go on, James. You take the honours on the first one.
I want to say the relics, in my opinion, were the weaker part of this book. I was a little bit disappointed, but if I'm thinking of what's in the meta right now, I think maybe the Wolf-Tail Talisman could be quite useful.
Yeah.
Attracting two to your, it's not fantastic, but I know like sister players have been using this kind of relic to maybe weaken down things like Grey Knights, which are really in the vogue right now. To be able to have a character who you can move them up quite easily to get that -2 bubble could be useful. Obviously, you have the Rune Priest have already got a negative with their runic weapon, so you could somehow pull some junk. And there's a stratagem in the original Space Wolf book which characters can actually deny psychic powers as well. So nice. if you have a character with this, you can deny it with -2. So
nice.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, so Wolf-Tail Talisman, just for clarification, is when a psychic test is taken for an enemy model within 18 inches of this model, with this relic, subtract 2 from the result, which is really good. And 18 inches is quite a big bubble as well, because I mean, it's
conveniently Jinx range.
Exactly, that's exactly what I'm thinking. So Jinx being quite hard to cast already, usually, unless they're using Seer Council and stuff like that. It's not very easy to get off, and now you're making it a 9 to cast, which is really cool. I'm not sure.
Like if you can deny, normally at the moment denying is pretty useless because everyone's got so many plus X buffs to +1, +2, but being able to -2 makes a big difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes denies somewhat useful. So and with the ability to use a deny on a character, no matter if they're a psycho or not, it makes this relic a bit more viable. Not one obviously you take every game. One you'd take as if you felt like you needed that extra psychic defense.
Yeah, exactly. And because Space Wolves usually look to Rune Priests as well. I mean, if they're trying to cast within 12 and within this range of this guy, that's -3, which is quite cheeky because they usually have the Psychic HUD, which is always nice.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, it's situational, but I mean, if you've got access to it, at least it's something. If you're up against something that relies on psychic powers like Eldar or Grey Knights at the minute.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Tank? Any jump out to you?
My favourite, other than that, would be the Worm Splitter, the Relic Power Axe. It gives the user strength +1, so I guess that'll typically be strength 5.
Yeah.
-2 AP and 2 damage, which is like an awesome profile for sort of Primaris Marines and Sanguinary Guard and things like that.
Yeah.
But the big kicker with it against monsters and vehicles, it's damage 4.
Wow. Okay.
So I've kind of think if you take the Warlord trait for Saga, the big things, it effectively becomes if you're wounding knights on 4 still and doing 4 damage. So it's a good little relic, and it's if you put it on like a smash captain with a smash lord with an axe, if you like, it's kind of like a 35-point discount on a Thunderhammer. Yeah,
it's really good because if you point it into the right thing, that's going to be super strong. If you point it into Primaris, it's kind of like, okay, it's 2 damage, that's alright. I'd rather Ragnar at this point. I mean, if you go for vehicle and monster hunting with him, because I was reading the fluff, it's gifted to the warrior who can slay the biggest beast, which is pretty cool.
Really cool. Yeah, I think in all my lists I'd have a sort of hammer lord.
Yeah.
Also jump lord in every list now. So
yeah, again, it's just so cheap. The one that jumped out to me was the Mountain Breaker Helm, which is it's an infantry character only. I've just realised the example I was going to give you can't do because I was like, oh yeah, give this to Ragnar, that'd be really cool, but never mind. Yeah, you can't give it to a special character, I just remembered. But after you resolve the bearer's attacks in the fight phase, but before they consolidate, you can select one enemy unit within 1 inch of the bearer and roll a d6. On a 2+, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. If this ability destroys a character and the bearer is your warlord, treat the bearer as having performed their deed of legend, which I thought was pretty snazzy. Again, you can't do it with Ragnar because I'm a numpty, but there you go. But yeah, being able to like kind of throw someone in for like a bit of a Mortal Kombat duel with an enemy character, and then being able to get your deed off, which is pretty nice. So
yeah, and this one again, if you fight twice or fight when you die, I think you can use this twice.
That's true. Clever. Hello.
Yeah. It's not amazing, but it's like an extra couple of extra mortal wounds twice is nothing to sniff at, and for a relic slot, which you might not use anyway, it's not bad.
Yeah.
The only downside I have with these relics is the base Space Wolf relics are actually pretty good, and it's difficult because you don't have the Space Marine. The take on limited relics stratagem.
Yeah,
I find these really difficult to take, and I don't really know if I would use them because I like the Whimsical Axe is pretty cool. I like that as well. Like you said, Tank. It's not a bad one. I quite like the Companion's Blade as well. These are a decent weapon, but I'd struggle to take them over the Wolfenstone.
The Wolfenstone's so good.
Yeah,
and then you've got the Belt of Rust, which is also really good. And, is it whatever it's called? The one
pick someone's fight last.
Yeah, it's obviously situational, but they're both really good relics in the right matches.
Yeah,
and so you're then either paying 2 CP for one of these, and I think you're going to take Mastercrafted Weapon a lot of the time as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see Wolfenstone and Mastercrafted Weapon being my 2. Maybe Mountain Breaker Helm might be in some cases better than or a Worm Splitter Axe, like you said.
Yeah. I think where Wolfenstone's always an auto take for me, and I'd probably use the strat to either buy the Worm Splitter or the Talisman or the Belt of Rust sort of situationally.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't normally have 2. If you're especially playing Pure Wolves, you don't normally have 2 CP to spend on a relic. It's a bit too much of a cost.
Yeah, because basically the only way you can unlock relics still for Space Wolves is the base Codex stratagem to buy 1 relic for 1 CP or 2 relics for 3 CP. So it makes the relic cost even more precious than it would be for a Space Marine player, because for them it's just 1 CP for every single one you want. And they can buy as many as they like, whereas you're still limited to 2 extra, and it costs you 3 CP for the privilege. which is it does make these more and more precious. So you're going to look at like Wolfenstone, as you guys have said, the most obvious ones, because they are the strongest in more situations. Whereas like Wolf-Tail Talisman, as you said, you're not going to take that every game, but when you do need it, you're going to have to decide, do I want Belt of Rust or do I want the Talisman to try and deny some psychic powers? So, just for clarity, James, you mentioned the Companion's Blade. That is a Power Sword or Mastercrafted Power Sword replacement. It's +2 Strength, -3 AP, and damage 2. And when you resolve an attack, if the bearer is within 3 inches of another friendly Space Wolf unit, you can re-roll the wound roll, which is pretty cool. So... it's pretty tasty.
It's one player, isn't it? It's cheap. It's you only have to pay 4 points for a power sword. So if you don't need it, you don't need it. It's not great, but it's not a terrible one.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah. So
the Relic Stormbolter in the main book's quite good as well.
Yeah.
The 2 damage 2 AP Stormbolter.
Yeah, exactly. So again, that relic slot, the relic slots that you're limited to, are so precious, and you've got quite a few options, but there's still a couple that from the original book do stand out, sadly. So all of these are a bit more, I mean, except for maybe the axe, because that is just kind of good all the time. A lot of them are very situational that we found, but they're really good in the right situation, but that situation doesn't always come up. So that's what I'd say for the relics anyway. So,
yeah, there's no Ironstone or whatever in here. There's no like what you're going to take every single time. Yeah,
exactly. I agree. So, except for the name generator, I think that's about it for the Space Wolves. As I said, they did have their points reprinted. Ragnar is in the book, which is cool. So he's 120 points, as we mentioned, 20 points up from his previous flat counterpart. But overall, what would you say to the Space Wolves update, James?
I think it's a solid update. Nothing spectacular. It's more in line with Guard and probably Blood Angels. Like a good update, but not going to completely change the way they play. Not as many options as Tau probably. But they definitely have got some useful abilities. It's nice to have the Space Marine stuff, and they did get some of the things that like Blood Angels didn't get, which is good. Like Skyfire and things didn't get that strat. But
exactly.
But they still have the issue. It's always going to be, can you get their units into that right place? And I think you can. It's going to come down to just having that kind of surgeon's blade kind of army, where you can surgeon's knife kind of army, rather than a blunt, a big hammer that you can just smash people with.
Yeah, exactly. I guess they kind of play to the fluff because they're the executioners, so they kind of got a target and they just go and blend that a bit, and it just dies, but then they don't do anything else.
They really do have some great special characters for the points. Like Giles, fantastic for points. Ulrich is only 85 points, which if he did get
so cheap,
that would be auto take, because a normal chaplain's only 72, and he has a plasma pistol and you get an extra attack, I think, and a load of other. And he's good, and you've got obviously Ragnar for 120, Arjak for 110, who's not bad at all. These characters are all.
What about Murderfang for 125?
Yeah, he's not bad actually as well.
With him getting the exploding fours.
Yeah, that'll be insane. How many attacks does he get on the charge?
He gets like 8 attacks on the charge.
Yeah,
ouch. Like strength 8, 3 damage.
Nice, okay. Sneaky.
I mean, Space Wolves I've never seen. They're absolutely never seen. So anything that makes them viable, even if they're just souped in, it'd be really cool to have some Space Wolves on the board.
Yeah, exactly. Because that 6-inch intervention is like no joke, and everyone forgets about it because hardly anyone uses Space Wolves. It's like, can you see all these nasty characters? Okay, goodbye. So
I mean, I was definitely looking at lists where you can leverage Blood Angels and Space Wolves, and can you get some sort of character spam going? Probably using Imperial Guard to be the ubiquitous command point generator.
Yeah.
But I do think the Primaris Marines and Impulsors with some characters mixed in, or maybe the Wolf Guard units could make a little comeback as well. They're all pretty interesting.
Well, did you guys get around to writing a quick list to like what would you do initially after having a look at the book?
I did do a bit of a list.
Because I did one, which is exactly what you both mentioned now, is Impulsor and Rhino Rush.
Oh, well, that's interesting, because I was thinking about two. I think I was thinking if you're going to play Ragnar, probably the way to do it is like a sort of Impulsor rushy theme.
Yeah,
with a lot
exactly.
of Primaris. But I've gone totally different, so we're going to have contrasting lists, which is fun.
Yeah, so we're kind of overrun, so we'll have to just go through the basic idea of what the lists are. But mine's double battalion and a vanguard, which is actually quite a lot of CP for Space Wolves. It's 5 H keys in total. So I've got a battle leader, I've got a rune priest in Terminator armor. I probably should have took Nigel, but I couldn't afford him.
No.
And then I've got a Wolf Lord who's got a Thunderhammer, and I'm probably going to give him Mastercrafted weapons. So he's got the typical Storm Shield and Thunderhammer and Jump Pack. And then I've got Ulrich in his old points, but I'm going off the fact that he's probably going to get litanies. If not, I'd put a normal chaplain in, like maybe a Primaris. And then Ragnar Blackmane, because he's awesome. And then I've got 4 units of Intercessors, all with auto bolt rifles, and a Power Fist in each unit. To like sit in their 4 impulses that I've given them, and then
nice.
I would have
shield domes.
Yeah, always shield domes. So they're just like proper, like just rush up with Ragnar. Hopefully, get him into combat as quickly as possible. Advance him into combat, and hopefully, if you make the charge and they're still within 6 of the intercessors, they can also advance and then charge, which is pretty cool. Because I presume his warlord trait, well, his Saga is advance and charge. And then, let's double check. I'm going to make sure I'm doing this right. Where is it?
Will Ragnar not have Ragnar might have a fixed warlord trait. I can't remember.
Oh, it's a character one. I read the wrong one. So you'd have to do it with the Thunderhammer dude then. So that's take Saga of the Hunter. So if you advance it, you can charge still. And then if he makes the charge, then his aura becomes a 6-inch aura. So you just basically Impulsor rush in, but then because I ran out of points, I had to put 2 units of Blood Claws in, so I stuck a Rhino in for them as well. So everyone starts in a transport.
Oh, I love it. It's like the old Iron Wolves.
Yeah, exactly. So you got 4 Impulses, all full of auto bolt rifles with Power Fists, Intercessors, and then a Rhino with 2 units of Chainsword Blood Claws. And then I put Murder Fang in there because he's cool as. And then I've got 2 units of Wolfen as well. So I've got 3 Thunderhammers in there. One of them's got the Wolfen Claws and the pack leader's got the Frost Claws. So I was trying to write it. I've never written a Space Wolves list before, but I thought this looks quite cool. You probably get murdered if you don't go first, but if you go first, you just YOLO all your impulses up the board and hopefully get Ragnar in combat and just blender something quite early on and just shoot auto bolt rifles everywhere.
the ability to have that, because there's that Cloak from the Storm, that -1 to hit within if you instant 6.
Yeah.
Strat, and then obviously you've got Impulsors with shield domes that are already quite survivable. You can definitely make those things quite annoying to kill.
Yeah, exactly.
Using terrain, and then obviously when you get there, those little Primaris units, if they've got Power Fists, they're going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I would have gone with Thunderhammers, but let's say my software that I use to build lists doesn't have the Thunderhammer option, so I couldn't work out what points they were supposed to be because I don't know where to look these days with points. It's like, which book? Okay, this is the wrong one. I've got 6 other books to check now. So I just get them Power Fist, and it was also cheaper. So that is actually $19.99. So
it's a nice little list.
Yeah, I thought it would be pretty fun. Just like
it'd be fun.
Lots of angry dudes in little boxes just trying to jump out and kill everybody. So, did you both come up with one? Did you say? If not, that's totally fine.
Shall I shoot? Did you do one, Ramsay? Did you have time?
The only one I did was I basically used my old list that I played you with, and I dropped the guard and made it pure Space Wolves.
Okay. Do you want to give us a quick rundown?
Let's save Ramsay from last till last because he's the expert.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So his one's probably.
I don't think
probably the one that people should have fresh in the memory.
I was going pure Wolves, so I don't know if it's super competitive, but I was trying to keep it pure Wolves because I did like the idea of having a Wolf army that could actually compete. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be cool. Okay, so Tank, what was your list? A quick rundown.
So I went for more of like a balanced sort of toolboxy Wolves list.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a battalion, a vanguard, and a supreme command.
Nice.
And spoiler alert, Bjorn's in there, so I've got
nice.
11 command points, I think.
That's cool.
Which is quite good. So I've got a battalion. I've got the Smash Lord with the Thunderhammer and the Wolfenstone.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the Worm Splitter Axe Jump Lord.
Nice.
With Saga of the Beast Slayer.
Nice.
Buying him the extra trait with the new strat.
Yeah. So he gets +1 to wound against me at vehicles and monsters, doesn't he? With that.
Yeah, and I'd probably give the Wolfenstone one, make him the Warlord and give him advance and charge or something like you did.
Yeah.
For troops, I'd probably go 3 units of 5 incursors.
Yeah, I looked at incursors because they're really good.
They're just handy if you play against like Blood Angels or Raven Guard. You can screen a bit, and you can like speed bump Disco Lords and Knights, and
yeah,
and then I just had 60 points spare, so I've got a unit of just naked Grey Hunters to sit in the back on an objective as well.
Nice.
And then we've got a Vanguard. We've got Arjak.
Angry Fist Man.
2 units of 10 Wolfguard Terminators with all Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, and a Chain Fist on the Sergeant.
Okay.
We've got Murderfang.
Murderfang, of course.
We've got 5 Wolfen, all with Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, apart from the leader who can't have it. A bit on the fence about Wolfen, but
they are quite expensive. But I mean, as we mentioned with Transhuman,
I don't like going heavily into them, but I think a unit of 5 outflanking just adds a good dimension and like gives people something to worry about. And sometimes you can deploy them and be cagey with them. Yeah. And then I've got to finish off. I've got a Supreme Command with Terminator Nigel.
Yeah.
For like the cover power and being able to get the -1 to hit and what have you.
Yeah.
I've got Bjorn with twin las cannons.
Nice.
Just because he's another good like.
Basically a Chaplain Dreadnought, but better.
Yeah. And the twin las cannons handy because Space Wolves do struggle a bit with flyers, or this list does anyway.
Yeah.
And then just to finish off a Primaris Wolf Priest, just so we can get the utility of the litanies.
Nice. Cool list.
So it's just a bit of everything, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty snazzy. Again, it's like a toolbox army. It's like just kind of can change its tactics depending. Whereas my list is one-dimensional. It's just run at you.
I think when the world starts turning again, this will be kind of probably the basis that I start playtesting from and try and develop a good ITC sort of pure list from this.
Nice. Okay, man, that's cool. So, James, what was the list that you kind of put together that we already know about, but everyone at home doesn't? So, what?
Well, this was based on the Wolfguard, like I had when I played you. So I had the 30 Wolfguard. I decided to drop all the combat out of them because I thought I'd use using that strat that we talked about before to make them don't need to be we're going to use them more just to be survivable. And then character-wise, I did used to have Logan, but he's kind of fallen off a little bit now. I've decided with that +1 to hit strat, I don't think I need the ability to reroll hits as much these days. Yeah,
because reroll ones just does the job now, doesn't it? Because you're hitting on 2s with all these Dawn Bolters with these 30 Wolfguard Terminators.
Yeah, so I didn't take him anymore. I dropped him for Ragnar because I thought he's just too cool not to have.
Yeah, he's so cool.
I had originally a Wolf Lord in there with a Thunderhammer. He normally had either Belt of Rust or Wolfstone. It depends on what you wanted to do with him, but yeah, there's loads of stuff you can do with him. I had Nigel, Arjak. I had a regular Wolf Priest. I decided over Ulrich because I wanted the ability to have a Wolfstone. I probably would make him Primaris thinking about it. Yeah, I'm trying now. Yeah. For the 5 points, it's just no point.
It's too good, sadly. It's too good just to go Primaris extra wound.
Yeah, and then so all those characters are quite smashy, and there's still some points left. I hadn't decided if I wanted another Wolf Lord.
Okay.
Or if I wanted the ability to have some eliminators, because eliminators are really good in a lot of these missions. Just to have something to screen and just to put a few shots out and I'd pick out characters. So I was a bit on the fence with that. And then the core of the list after that was 6 squads of Primaris Marines with just 5 men with fists.
Nice.
And their job is really just to either outflank a couple of those units.
Yeah.
Are going to be just to you can hide them, you can board control them, you can set them up and go from ruin to ruin with them. With the Cloak from the Storm and the +1 save, if you're in the open, they're not super easy to kill. Like they do die, but they're not as easy to kill as normally as normal Marines are. And they get all the buffs, from the Wolfenstone, the +1 attack, the exploding 6s.
They already get quite a lot of attacks already, don't they? Like your basic intercessor gets 3 on the charge.
Yeah, it makes them really good, really powerful. A lot of attacks, and they give you the CP. I think you're going to need, if you're going to play pure wolves, you want to use these nice strats to make them. If I was going to play pure wolves, I'd want lots of CP. I don't think you'd want to run around with like 6 or 7, because when I played you, I only had 10, I think, and it was definitely not easy to. It was not easy to play with that few CP, even with the old strats. So with the like transhuman and so on, I think you'd want to have some more. And I think the ability to have like a Wolf Guard unit, say you could hide a lot of your army off the board or in ruins, and you could have your 10 Wolf Guard that are with transhuman and 3 up and vulnerable. They're quite survivable for the points. And of course, if you have the Cloak from the Storm and all that on them there, and Najal doing -1 to hit. Casted, it's pretty good. Could be quite interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think there's some play that I definitely like the Wolfen. I would love to fit some Wolfen in there. I'd have to think about what I'd do. Maybe it's
they're just so expensive, aren't they? For the loadout you want, which is Frostclaws and then 4 Thunderhammers, it's like 209 points or something near there, which is really, really expensive for 5 dudes.
I think if they'd just gotten something, I mean, transhuman maybe was enough, but I don't know. I definitely wanted to test, because there's a lot of buffs for them, but then there's also a lot of, because like there's all these little like the litanies on them are fantastic, and the some of the extra little things they can do, like the counter charge you talked about, But I don't know if I could quite get them in. I definitely don't think I could take 30. I think Tank, you were saying that you were trying to run 30 when
Yeah,
30 and maybe some intercessors, and that's it.
It would have been a bit of a troll list, but there was a list I was looking at, and it was I think it was something like 3 units of 8 Wolfen, and then 6 units of 5 incursors and some characters.
Yeah.
That would be quite cool.
And the idea was if you put all the incursors 9 inches away from their deployment zone, then they kind of had to deal with them before they could shoot the Wolfen. They just
got to advance the Wolfen as fast as you can, just like hope you get 2 turns of movement in.
They're definitely fast.
They are.
They're not slow, and with the +2 to charge, reroll charge, litany +2 charge, and you've got a flat reroll themselves, so that you don't even need Ragnar sort of thing.
Yeah.
They are down. The Wolfen are as cheap as 198 points for 5 with Thunderhammers after chapter approved, though, Mikey.
Yeah.
Oh, are they? All right.
They are a bit cheaper.
I thought they were
about too expensive.
Yeah. The thing is, with they've gained transhuman, but really you want to use that on a big Wolfen. But it's such a big point sink, and you can only give 4 of them Thunderhammers, so they're going to have a crap save.
The problem with Wolfen, the problem with Wolfen with Thunderhammers is their toughness 4 with a good invulnerable save. So what they really die to is bolters. And transhuman isn't going to help you with that really, and the meta is going to move more towards more bolter shots now. They've nerfed the Devastator Doctrine as well. Yeah,
because everyone will be moving to Raven Guard and stuff like that for the extra tactical doctrine, because that's where they excel.
Orca meta, when I was thinking that maybe they might work, but aggressors are just absolutely rinse them, and like auto bolt rifles and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But there you go. That was our review of the new Space Wolf supplement. Again, massive thank you to Games Workshop for sending this out so we could review it for you on this bright, lovely Saturday morning. Thank you, James, for coming on. Really appreciate you coming on, mate. It's been really good to talk to you.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, cheers, James.
So hopefully you enjoyed our review. I say we talked about some of the good bits, some of the bad bits, and also some interesting list ideas. Like obviously Impulse Rush was the best one clearly, and that he's going to win a GT in in a month or 3 months, maybe, whenever there's an event on. So, but yeah, so we also, hopefully it comes out at the same time, we've also done a review of the Orc section, because Orc's got a nice buff in here as well. We did that with Tom Douche, who's doing really well with Orcs these days. So yeah, thank you very much, James.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome.
Hopefully we'll get you on too.
I hope your Impulsor Rush serves you well.
Thanks, Tank, for coming on.
All right, it's always a pleasure, mate. Thank you.
Thank you very much at home for watching. We've been Hellstormwargaming. You guys have been fantastic, and hopefully we'll catch you in the next one. And don't forget to look out for the battle report with the new Space Wolves that should be coming out in a few days. So, thanks, guys. See you later.
See you, boys. Stay safe.